Hello, wrestling fans. This is Scottie Richardson of Wrestler Weekly, and thank you for joining me for another episode of Wrestler Weekly Presents. This is episode 5, 1980. We have made it to the 80s, a new decade, a new era of wrestling, if you will. And before we get rolling here, I just came from the Tommy Wildfire Rich School of Wrestling, and if you caught my Sunday shout out for this week, want to give a public shout out on my episode number 5 here for young Blaze Todd. He is the next up and coming superstar in professional wrestling. He's a young guy that did really well tonight, so I was real proud of Blaze, and you can see some of those photos on my Twitter at Wrestler Weekly. And I love all the people that follow, whether it be Twitter or Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube. And thank you for subscribing. If you haven't already, go to wrestlerweekly.com, subscribe, and I will send you our bonus episode from last week spotlighting the Ric Flair 1979 MAG with the U.S. title, and I spotlighted my U.S. belt as well on that bonus episode, so it's out there. If you haven't seen all the episodes, you can go to Wrestler Weekly on our YouTube channel, and you can go through the archives. We started with 1972. We did a kind of a collage there of 72 to 76. And then we did an episode of 1977. Episode 3 was 1978. Episode 4, obviously 1979. And we have made it to 1980. But I love all of you guys that follow Wrestler Weekly, especially one in particular. I was in a little bit of a chat last night, and you know, Kerry Von Erich is always a hot topic, and so I was talking to some fans, and one of my followers, Liz, put out a picture, and I put a photo of the MAG, and we were talking about the MAG. Everybody was talking about the MAG, and she didn't have the MAG, so priority mail. So this is what it's about for me, and so I'm going to send. It's not signed, but it's a gray mag. Look at young Carrie. And so I'm going to send this magazine to Liz. And so, free of charge, by the way. So really love all of my friends and followers of Wrestler Weekly. So if you haven't already, and go out and do that and follow us and send us messages. We love talking wrestling and wrestling, and we love it all. So let's get started. Always great to start with a hot match. And so we're going to start with a hot mag. By the way, somebody asked me, you know, why are you growing? Every time I see this beard, it's just getting longer. Well, I'm trying to look like Harley Race. You see, look at that. I'm not quite there yet, but this was 1980 when Harley had the really big beard. But this is signed by my good buddy, Tommy Wildfire Rich, personalized to Scottie. Good luck, Tommy Wildfire Rich. And this one I got signed when we started the venture. We started put all the finishing touches on the Tommy Wildfire Rich School of Wrestling here in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And so really great friend of mine at this point, and Tommy and his family, and so I'm really part of the family. And hey, we're all Richardsons, right? Let's go to number 2, September of 1980. By the way, this is November of 80, The Wrestler. This is September of 1980 of The Wrestler. Now, this is double signed Ernie the Cat Lad with, he even signed Bible verse 1 Corinthians 10:13. Ernie the Cat Lad, also signed by Pat Patterson. So this is a fantastic mag, and lucky to have Ernie the Cat Lad, who's passed, and the Pat Patterson, also a great signature. We're going to stay in the old WWF. 1980, April of 80, this is the ring. Now, you know about the rings, the ring boxing, but the rings also had wrestling magazines. This is from the ring, signed by Bruno Sammartino. Now, there's some writing here. That is not Bob Backlund. I'm not sure if you can see that with the lighting, but that is signed by Brent Hardison. Now, Brent Hardison, this mag and this story, and really the story about Brent is in my book, Family Bacon Wrestling, out soon. Brent Hardison really was very instrumental in getting me back into wrestling after a long layoff, because you'll read it in the book, but my family got extremely religious, my dad, and so threw all of our wrestling stuff away. Matter of fact, I thought he threw it away, but my mom, before, when I was writing the book, actually said, you know what, he didn't really throw them away. He actually burned them in the backyard. So, whole story, can't get into it right now. You have to buy my book, Family Bacon Wrestling, to hear that story, and boy, is it a story. This one, March of 1980, The Wrestler. Now, this is one of my favorites, because look at all the people that signed this one mag. I mean, you got Bruno Sammartino, you have Nick Bockwinkel, you have Harley Race. I mean, this is one of the best mags. I mean, to say you've got Bruno Sammartino, Nick Bockwinkel, and Harley Race. I mean, three of the greatest world champions ever. Could have closed this show with this mag. It is phenomenal. Moving on, we got 10 mags tonight. January of 1980. This is one of the early PWIs, one of the early Pro Wrestling Illustrateds, signed by Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream. And I like mags, and I said this on a previous episode, but I like mags that still kind of give me a challenge. You know, I like a challenge. Oh, by the way, I want to thank my good buddy Austin Idol for the shout out. If you have not listened to Austin Idol's podcast, the Austin Idol Live podcast, this week he had Road Warrior Animal on. Fantastic episode. But I want to thank Austin. He gave me a shout out. He talked about Scottie Richardson's VPO, and that's something that you're going to hear a lot about in the next few months. But VPO, real quick, vision plus passion equals opportunity, VPO. So you'll hear a lot about that, but appreciate Austin Idol with a shout out. And if you have not subscribed to Austin Idol Live podcast, make sure you do that. Another, The Wrestler. I might have the whole, I need to go back and check. I might have the whole set of The Wrestlers for 1980. This is a classic mag. When you talk about when I was a kid and I saw this mag, and by this was the picture, I talked about this last week, the little pictures on the back of wrestling magazines, and they previewed Wrestling Album number 4. Well, this picture was there, and man, and I own an NWA 10 Pounds of Gold, the Dome Globe. I own one, and it's just a privilege to own it. But as a kid, you know, when my mom's making belts out of carpet, and who knows what else that we used, paint cans and lids as the belts, and I mean just crazy stuff. But signed by Harley Race, and you know, never thought I would own this mag, much less have it signed. Moving on, this is a great one. I recently got this one. This is probably this might be the most recent signed mag in my collection. The most recent signed mag, February of 1980, The Best of the Wrestler, WWF World Champion Make sure the glare, there we go. Can you see that? Bob Backlund signed one of my favorite mags. Reggie has this mag. My brother, I thought I would never own it, but I'd like to thank Bob for signing this one. Great mag, great mag. All right, let's see, we've got three left. Now, I talked about this, how I thought, a lot of these, as a kid, you don't think you're going to own these, but as an adult, I'm still a collector. And so there are a lot of mags that I put up there to think, I may never own these again, or I may never own them at all. Reggie, my brother, owns some that I don't have, and vice versa. We always say as long as one of us have it, then it's all good. It's in the family. We kind of say that. And so here we go. January 1980, Wrestling 1980 Annual. WWF, NWA. How about this one? Nick Bockwinkel, AWA, with the belt, signed. Look at those three. I mean, these three should be in a frame. As a kid who loves the wrestling belts, who loves the world champions, remember I always talk about opening up a mag and seeing the inside wrestling, the middle of the inside wrestling with the ratings, and to see all three champions. I mean, just unbelievable. Look at that Bockwinkel. Fantastic. All right, two left. The American Dream 1980 Annual, Spring of 80, Dusty Rhodes with the NWA belt, signed. A long story on this one. I'll probably save the full story. Matter of fact, I think part of it's in my book, but we'll save part of this story for a later date. But Reggie, my brother, got this signed in I think 2014 Fan Fest. He got this one signed. I had Dusty sign the PWI, the very first PWI, if you know that one, with Mil Mascaris, and so Reggie, he wanted that mag, and so we did a little trade. So Reggie actually got this one signed, and then I got another one signed, the first PWI. We made a little trade, and so I'm just happy to have this one in my collection. Last one. Now this is a very interesting one because it's a back cover. This is a PWI. Let me open up so you can see the front. This is the front. Andre the Giant. This is from September 1980, PWI, Stan Hansen, Andre the Giant, but it's the back cover that's signed by Hulk Hogan. You know the drill. Started it last week. Subscribe to WrestlerWeekly.com. WrestlerWeekly.com. It's free. Just type it into your search engine. WrestlerWeekly.com. It's easy for me to say. Subscribe for free, and I will send you this picture. Where have you seen that before? That's right, on the back of Wrestling Album number 5. You want to hear about this story? Bonus episode. Sign up, subscribe, make a comment down YouTube. Comment on our episode. Thank you again for joining us this week. Next week, 1981. It should be a special episode. Don't miss it. Be there.